Welcome to the Lifting Lindsay channel. Today, I'm really excited to go over one of my favorite biceps exercises with you, and that is the facing away low cable biceps curl. I know the name is kind of a mouthful. If you think of something better to name it, let me know in the comment section. I'm all ears. But I'm gonna be reviewing this exercise, why I like performing this, what's different between this and a regular dumbbell biceps curl. I'm also gonna be showing you proper form and execution, how we can set up right, get the most out of this. And then the third thing that I'm gonna be going over with you is how I usually see people screw this one up. Like the typical bad things that people do when trying to perform this exercise. So let's dive on into this. So what's the difference between doing the facing away low pulley biceps curl versus just a regular dumbbell biceps curl? So when we are performing the dumbbell biceps curl, you'll notice that we're keeping our arms relatively close to our side here. And then when we lift up the dumbbell, as soon as the dumbbell is furthest from the joint that it's acting on, that's when it's the most difficult, right? So with a regular dumbbell bicep curl, this is the range of motion we're working in. About here is peak difficulty, okay? It's a great exercise, nothing wrong with it. With the facing away low pulley bicep curl, you'll notice that we actually have some shoulder extension, okay? Not a ton, not crazy, but we do have a little shoulder extension. And what that does is it's going to lengthen out your biceps so we can work the biceps more lengthened. Why do we care about working the biceps more lengthened? I'm so glad you asked. Because the literature is showing that when we work a muscle in a more lengthened position and when we make the peak difficulty in that lengthened position, we can actually get a little bit more hypertrophy. So what does this exercise do? Well, it does both of those. When we step forward, we get our biceps a little bit more lengthened. And then where's the peak difficulty? It's actually right there at the bottom. In a more lengthened position is where it's the most difficult. So awesome. When it comes to choosing an exercise to get the biggest bang for your buck, when you really want to build your biceps, it's going to be this exercise. It is an excellent exercise for hypertrophy. So I may start with this exercise and then I'll have a client move over and do dumbbell biceps curls because they both have different resistance profiles. This one here is going to be more difficult in that lengthened position. A biceps curl is going to be more difficult in that mid-range. So both of those together can be a really powerful tool when it comes to building your biceps. So next, let's look over proper setup and execution for this exercise. So when you are setting up for the low cable bicep curl, obviously you want the cables to be at the very bottom. And then what you're going to do, grab the handles right to your side, and then I just want you to take one step forward. Do you notice how immediately we get that shoulder extension that I talked about? And that's exactly what we want for this exercise. Grab the pulleys, take one step forward, and then we can perform this exercise. So that is going to be the setup that we want here. Now keep in mind, you want to keep that upper arm as stable as possible as you're going through this movement here. Now let's go over now a few of the major mistakes that I often see people do when trying to perform this exercise. Mistake number one is that they go way too far forward and we get excessive shoulder extension. So at this point, more is not better, guys. We're just making it really difficult to perform the exercise, but we're not enhancing it by getting like way more shoulder extension, right? So you just remember, you just need to take one step forward and then you can kind of stagger your stance there. Just getting a little shoulder extension, stagger your stance so you can really get some balance and stability as you go through this movement. Another thing that I see people do, let's say they set up correctly, but in executing, they roll their elbows forward. So they just think of curling their elbows like forward, like this. So there's a lot of movement in that upper arm. So what they do is they start rocking the elbows back and forward like this. So you want your upper arm to be as stable as possible. Lock it in place. The only thing that's moving is your hands are coming up and they're going down. They're coming up and they're going down, okay? So we don't want to rock our hands or our elbows up like this. Keep that upper arm firmly in place as you curl, okay? So those are some of the major mistakes that I often see. Another way that I often see people cheat is actually by making adjustments to their shoulder. So the biceps actually attach at the shoulder joint. Your body, all it knows is you're trying to get from point A to point B. It doesn't know that you're trying to create as much tension on the biceps as possible so you can build them or so that you can become stronger. It doesn't know that. All it knows is you're trying to get from point A to point B. Oh, I'm gonna make alterations to make it easier for you. So people will start leaning down to kind of start making these alterations. So as you're going through this movement, just keep in mind a little bit of shoulder extension and then keep this upper arm firmly in place and just go up and down, up and down. And that's it. No rocking this way, no rocking this way, just little extension and up and down. So hopefully you've been able to learn a little bit more about this exercise, setup and execution, what people usually do wrong, and even some ways that you can add it into your current programming to make your programming just a little bit better. Now, go ahead and like, subscribe, add a comment. If there's another exercise that you guys want to see me break down, go ahead and let me know in the comment section what I can do for you so that you can get into the gym and train hard, but also train smart.